Hi everyone, my name is Sarah McGivern and I'm a apparel design and product innovation major at University of Delaware. So my research is on utilizing zero waste patterning and sustainable textiles to produce high performance athletic apparel. All right, so I just want to move through this briefly since I have a lot of information. So why is this research important? So I just have a lot of statistics on this first slide, basically just going over why it's so important to look into this research. So for starters, in 2018, US activewear sales reached 80.1 billion, but that is projected to grow to nearly 547 billion by 2024, and activewear is currently growing faster than traditional fashion. So that just has been based off of like the culture of how we live these days, not necessarily to always wear activewear for sports and athletic, but also for athleisure as well. Um, and another reason that this research is important is because millions of metric tons of polyester fibers are produced worldwide, which are detrimental to our environment. And in 2017, it has increased by over 50 million, which is insane. And it's just going to keep growing the more we produce and the more that this is demanded, that athletic wear is demanded. Polyester is typically the staple fiber for athletic wear, which is extremely toxic to our environment. And they also produce microplastic, which is a large byproduct, and it makes its way through the food chain and it's very hard to filter, which is another reason why this research is so important. So just a little bit more background. So I just want to go over some questions that I wanted to answer through my research. Basically, I wanted to look at top athletic brands and their production practices and are they sustainable and why or why not. So why are these brands in such high demand? And basically, the forefront of this entire investigation is to see if athletic wear can be sustainable but also performance enhancing for those athletes who really need their garments to be long lasting and durable for those tough workouts. So this research really interested me as an athlete personally, and obviously you want to get the most out of what you're wearing but also have it um, be environmentally friendly as well. All right, so roughly about 15 to 20% of the total fabric in the fashion industry is wasted, which is what zero waste patterning is going to look into. So zero waste patterning is basically, if you don't know, is a way to pattern a garment so that there's no fabric or offcuts left. And then I just have listed some ways that this zero waste patterning was utilized in traditional Japanese kimonos, and it dates back long ago. So this is not really anything new, but zero waste patterning often is looked at as like a baggy, loose fitting aesthetic, which is why it's not really seen in athletic wear. So that's why I really wanted to challenge myself to see if we could really like innovate and see if we could change that a little bit. So, my research design method basically researched a bunch of athleisure brands, obtained a better understanding of how ZWP works, zero waste pattern making. I gathered inspiration, turned my inspiration into sketches, and then went through a lot of review of scholarly articles and tried to find um, studies that kind of were um, trying to look at what I was looking at, but it was extremely rare. I only found like one person that also looked into what I'm doing as well. So, for my brands that I picked basically the top three brands, not only in athletic apparel, but also in apparel as a whole. So that just shows you how powerful the athletic industry for um, for garments are. So, for starters, obviously the number one is going to be Nike. And I just wanted to kind of look into the materials they use for their high performance wear. So, their AeroAdapt technology is their newest technology. And so, this basically, instead of airflow decreasing as the garments become more saturated with sweat, it increases because the moment this technology senses sweat, the material's moisture reactive yarns open the fabric to release body heat and let air in. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what this new technology does. So dry fit technology, basically your standard like sports wicking or sweat wicking material. Um, AeroReact is uniquely engineered to adapt to change in a runner's temperature. So for sustainability, Nike Air manufacturing innovation facilities divert more than 95% of manufacturing waste from landfills, which is 51 million pounds of materials. So that just goes to show you that they're really taking a big step and big initiatives to try and become a more sustainable company because they know the purchasing power that their company has. So more than 7.5 billion plastic bottles are diverted from landfills and waterways and transformed into recycled polyester footwear and apparel since 2010. And then as you can see, there are just some other facts that and steps that Nike has taken towards creating a more sustainable company. And then Under Armour is gonna go through these real quick. So some of their textiles and materials that they currently use. So they have what are called stay ready materials, cold gear, and heat gear, and these are basically just different materials that are altered to the athlete's current needs depending on their climate or what state of like where they're going to be using their garments in. Yeah, so their sustainability. In 2017, they piloted a yarn extrusion and dyeing process, reducing use of water, energy, emissions, and chemicals. And then they have made big strides to try and reduce um, their waste that they produce. So one is their direct to product digital fabrication, which eliminates traditional manufacturing steps, reduces greenhouse gas emissions with less transportation of parts, also cuts water consumption from dye processes. They have virtual color approval and 3D product samples, which all basically just try to eliminate all of the going back and forth and all of those toxic emissions that are typically used in traditional retail industries. So, another very big recognizable brand is obviously Adidas. So basically, they are taking really big steps and initiatives to try and become a more sustainable company. So you can see they try and use recycled polyester, recycled nylon, recycled polystyrene. They also prohibit the use of leathers, hides, or skins from inhumanely treated animals. So, some of their sustainability initiatives include their Future Craft Loop, which is basically the first footwear prototype made of biosteel fiber, which is a replication of natural silk, and it's 15% lighter than synthetic fiber and the strongest fully natural material, and it's 100% recyclable and able to be completely broken down after worn out and made into entirely a new sneaker. And then the Adidas and Parley tailoring with ocean plastic movement is basically what it sounds like. It uses fibers derived from ocean plastic and gill nets to create some of their products. They also eliminate element sole shoe is to maximize pattern efficiency, which reduces waste without compromising style and performance, which basically Adidas has been the only company that I found that is kind of taking the initiative towards kind of what I'm looking into by maximizing pattern efficiency and utilizing AI to try and um, eliminate that waste. So basically, by my research, I found, like I said, only one company that is really utilizing almost the ideas behind zero waste pattern making, which is Adidas. Um, and then more findings. So when I went to design these garments, I really thought of what key components I wanted to have for them so that they would maintain their high performance ability but also be sustainable, which you can see here. So here's the criteria for a well designed effective sports bra, and I looked this up because I think a sports bra is probably the most important part for at least a woman to be very high performance and make sure that it's comfortable. Um, so you can see here kind of the criteria that I tried to incorporate, and then I'm gonna quickly show you guys the line that I ended up creating. So, like I said, I kind of went through my inspiration and created a mood board, as I call them. So, like I said, wanted to make it for a track athlete since that is what I am. And then over here, you can see my first look, which includes the sports bra that I designed. And then, like I said, I found someone who did similar research, so they were able to pattern zero waste leggings. And so I decided to incorporate their design into my look just because I really wanted to focus on the design of a sports bra since that has never really been researched before. So this is the pattern for the sports bra. And as you can see, this little gray square is the only waste, which is pretty much like 1% waste of this out of this entire pattern. And then our second look over here, so again, the spandex would incorporate the same patterning elements as the leggings did, but over here we have the pattern for the tank top. And then so this is completely zero waste. There's no waste being produced by this tank top. And then over here we also have the third look, which incorporates the leggings again, but this top is completely original. So this is trying to again make the garment breathable and again stylish, but also conscious of the high performance and high abrasion that it's going to be going under if these are high intensity athletes. And so, yeah, those are basically my three looks that I have designed. And we'll go back to presentation. Oh, Um, alrighty. So, oops, too far. All right, so why this line works is basically the patterns produce at most 1% offcuts, as you saw in that first design. And then the garments are versatile and they're designed not only with an athlete in mind, but also athleisure consumer for everyday wear. The sports bra is designed for high support and it attempts to minimize seams to elongate lifetime of the garment. So the fabric that I decided to be used, it was merino wool, and that is basically something that I had dedicated a lot of my time to research into, and it basically combines a lot of the great aspects of the high performance textiles and sustainable textiles that a lot of these big companies were using, but they weren't utilizing merino wool, which is such an untapped industry, and it's completely biodegradable, can biodegrade in up to 9 months, and it just has all these high performance aspects and it's completely sustainable. So what the future looks like. In conclusion, so the rising demand for athletic apparel contributes to high volumes of waste of not only carbon emissions or carbon footprint, but also offcuts, and physical textile waste. So Nike and Adidas are in the top 5 most popular brands in the US, and as you could see, Nike was taking strong initiatives towards creating a sustainable company, but zero waste pattern making wasn't one of them. So just incorporating that into such a big company like Nike could just make leaps and bounds of changes, which is huge. And then zero waste pattern making could reduce fabric waste sustainability substantially. Sorry. Um, and it's possible to pattern a variety of athletic garments using zero waste pattern making. So yes, these original designs did take time to come up with, but in the end, they are something that I think are very marketable, and you can see that it doesn't have to be a very big, loose fitting garment. It can be a garment for athletes. So, in the future, I'd like to see if I can make physical prototypes of these garments, further my research about merino wool, come up with more original patterns for leggings, because since all the my original patterns were just for the tops for these women, and then figure out how to elongate the use of these garments even further. And yeah, so that is my presentation. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Was super excited and passionate about this research, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.